And we're back. And I'm hoping to finish up chapter 2 tonight. And so let's get straight into it. Cassidy walked back to her quarters slowly, thinking about Dax and the doctor. She didn't know either of them as well as Ben had, especially Dax. But some things never change and probably never will. Ah, love. Cassidy grinned. The look on Julian's face had been so sincere, so entirely heartfelt as he talked about Esri and the problems, so normal. He worried that they thought differently about some things, and said she sometimes seemed bored by his work. He felt lonely sometimes and didn't know what she was thinking. He said she wanted to be alone occasionally, and that he did too, but was afraid for them to spend too much time apart. Every now and then he felt overwhelmed by emotion for her, and every now and then she got on his nerves, and what did that mean? The brilliant doctor was certainly clueless in some ways, and Cassidy suspected that Esri, for all her lifetimes, was probably on the same ship. They were in love, that was all. In love and finding out what that meant once the initial shine wore off. Falling in love was easy. Maintaining a relationship was work, no matter how emotionally or intellectually developed the participants were, and it wasn't always fun. I just want us to be happy. I don't want things to become dull for her, or me, Bashir had stated. So honestly, Cassidy had been hard-pressed to keep a straight face. And he'd been visibly distressed by her advice that there was no way to set everything up in advance, to avoid mistakes before they happened, that would take time to learn about each other, to let things unfold. It's good advice. In a way, being smart probably made it harder. Cassidy imagined that they were both trying to reason out their differences, to logically define their roles in each other's lives, to decide how to feel. And nothing's more frustrating than having feelings you didn't decide to have. Cassidy stopped walking, struck by the intensity of the memory. Ben had said that, not long after they'd become a regular thing. He'd been teasing her about something. She couldn't remember what exactly, although she recalled that they'd been in bed together, talking. He had a way of doing that, of gently pointing out to her the most basic truths in life. Things that she'd learned, that they'd both learned, but sometimes misplaced. It was the miracle of their time together, that capacity for understanding the truth that they'd been able to share. The sense of loss flooded through her, so like a physical pain that she had to close her eyes. Oh, baby, I know you had to go, but I miss you so much. I want you here with me. My goodness. Cassidy felt tears threatening and hurriedly walked on, firmly telling herself that she would not cry, not in public. She even managed a smile and a nod for a Bajoran couple passing by. She'd had no real choice in the matter about giving Ben up to the prophets, but her feelings about it, at least, she could keep as her own. My feelings, as if anyone else would want them. It had become a full-time job for her just to keep track. So many things were changing. The connection she already felt with the baby wouldn't allow her to be truly unhappy. She was already in love with the small life, and that love kept her from descending into real sorrow. But in all, it was a very strange time for her. Most days she felt strong, positive about a future that would allow her and Ben to be with each other, with Jake, and with their child. But there were also moments that she felt a kind of emptiness inside, a fear for what could be, that too much time would pass and he would return a stranger to her, their paths so far apart that they wouldn't even be able to see each other. He was with the prophets, after all, experiencing things she couldn't begin to imagine. And as the emissary, what if he came back and then was called away again? What further sacrifices might they have to make? When those thoughts welled up, she felt like everything she was doing was madness. Leaving her job, moving away from everything she'd known to wait for a man who might not return for months, even years. And that's okay. That's okay, because my life will be as full as I want it to be. Because I had a life before I met Benjamin Sisko, and I have a life now. 2 lives, she amended happily, and felt the slow, heavy warmth in her lower belly, where their child slept and grew. Her hormones were certainly in an uproar. She felt vulnerable to herself, to the wanderings of her own mind, in a way she never had before. It was almost funny, from amusement to tears and back again, in the time it took her to walk from the turbolift to her quarters. She thought she might be able to relax once she actually moved off the station and got settled on Bajor. She could hope. Anyway, as she walked into her quarters, she realized suddenly that she was tired. Tired and in a state of mild chaos. She was a strong, independent woman, on the verge of beginning a new life for herself. But at the moment she thought she might like to go back to bed. Maybe with a cup of tea and some of those ginger cookies. That sounded good. Cassidy yawned and decided that there wasn't anything on her slate that couldn't be put off for another couple of hours. If she could nap, get away from her own turbulent moods for a while, so much the better. "Oh, kid," she said, smiling, patting her lower belly as she headed for the replicator. "You're really something else." End chapter 2. I love Cassidy. You think it'd be tempting to make her miserable. I like her very mature outlook, her very calm outlook. She doesn't deny her feelings. But she's living a life. I really like that. I admire that. I think she's an admirable character. And we'll pick up with chapter 3. Not tonight, but soon. And I'm having fun so far. Trek Book Club. Last reminder of the day. Go check out Trek Book Club. And good night.